Speaking of love, I love this guy, too. His name is Tarell Alvin McCraney. He's a playwright, a professor, and a co-writer of the Oscar-winning screenplay, you know it, Moonlight. This movie won Best Picture at the 2017 Academy Awards. McCraney is now turning to television for his new project. It's called David Makes Man. It's about a 14-year-old prodigy handling the pressures of an elite education and the dangers of his Miami neighborhood at the same time. This is a preview.
But I can't have y'all walk through Overtown unprotected.
We good, man.
Oh, so you don't want my protection?
I know you got more to do besides walk with us.
We good, right? This my hood, too.
You don't.
Ain't nothing more important than family.
So true. Tarell Alvin McCraney is a creator and co-executive producer and joins us at the table. It's on the Oprah Winfrey-owned network. We should point that out. They had the first episode last night. And I remember the pitch. You didn't have Oprah at Hello, but by the time the pitch was over, she said it was one of the best, no, not one of, the best pitch that she's ever heard. So bravo to you, Tarell.
Oh, thank you.
Bravo, bravo.
Thanks
so this is about David, which we've been told is loosely based on your childhood, but you said, yeah, but.
Yeah, but I mean, it's based on the cornerstone of David is about the experiences I had growing up in a place called Homestead, Florida, made really popular recently before the detention center of children down there, but also a hurricane called Andrew came and decimated everything when I was 12 years old. But when I lived there, I remember going to a magnet school program out of the projects that look very much like that building on the show. And I remember just thinking and feeling, learning how to be very different at school than I was at home.
So living two worlds for yourself.
Double consciousness, double speak, code switching at all terms, even just to get on the bus in the morning.
Right.
And I remember, and I've started talking to folks about that. I talked to my friends, my peers, an actor named Andre Holland, who was also in Moonlight, and we talked about it. And then I started pitching the story out to folks. I went to MBJ, Michael B. Jordan, and he started to tell me about the time.
MBJ.
MBJ, that's
yes.
what we call him.
Okay.
Who's one of the executive producers on the show.
Yeah.
And Michael talked about his time growing up in Newark and how he had very similar experiences. And then I pitched the show at OWN, and someone made Oprah sit in front of me. They asked her to sit in front of me, and which, you know, I'm very nervous and shy. I know you can't tell. But I get really nervous and shy, and here I have Oprah Winfrey listening to me pitch this show.
So what was your pitch?
My pitch was that I think a lot of folks go through this experience. I think it's a unique experience in that a lot of young people in the American... In fact, I was talking to one of your producers the other day, and they were like, I'm from Perrine, which is, you know, a stone's throw from Homestead.
I lived in Homestead till I was 10. We used to talk off camera. I didn't realize Homestead was where you lived.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so folks really understand this notion of how I am at home. I'm not in school. I'm being socialized to be different in that way. Yeah. And what tools you pick up to survive that kind of doubleness, those two lives. And the extremes can really happen when you are in the margins of poverty, when you're coming from a place of poverty, going to a place of access. You really have to learn how to code switch in order to survive.
Yeah. And so what do you hope people take away from this who have not lived this experience and are seeing it on screen for the first time?
Well, I hope I know one of the things that's been really helpful is that we've been screening it a lot. And what's drawing folks in is that the tenderness of a young person and the things that you begin to pick up as a young person, that happens all across the board. And we all remember those moments of looking at our mentors, looking at our teachers, looking at our parents, and taking on the mechanisms that they use. We're trying to use those adult mechanisms in our own lives, just trying them out. You know, you might repeat a phrase that you heard someone say, and you watched David use those things, use those moments to really try to carve out a way to survive.
I like your title, David Makes Man. What does that mean?
It's Miss Oprah really gravitated towards that title because it's active. Right? It sounds in one part because of the way it scans David Makes Man biblical, but at the same time, it really hones into the point that we're watching this young person make himself as we speak, make himself into an adult before our eyes.
I'm curious, when you talk about code switching, and that creates a strength in terms of being a survivor.
Sure.
Is the skill to code switch, is a good thing and a bad thing?
Oh, yes. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, everything that we learn about survival is a good and bad thing.
Yeah.
Meaning that at some point, do you always need it to survive? One of the things that was really interesting is that I brought this pitch to OWN at a time that Miss Winfrey was also doing a segment on 60 Minutes about acute childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Right.
And that trauma, when we're young, we say to ourselves, oh, I'm in survival mode.
Yeah.
I'm in fight or flight. And you start making mechanisms in order to survive at all times. But then no one tells you when to stop doing that.
Yeah.
It was life-changing for her because she said, people always say, what's wrong with you when you see somebody acting out, when the question really should be what has happened to you.
Absolutely.
But it made its debut last night. This tweet caught my eye this morning from Dr. Michelle Law. She said, at Oprah, applause, 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 I have to use the bathroom but refuse to take my eyes off the TV. I'm totally in spellbound by David Makes Man, which makes you happy because you said this is a show you have to watch with your eyes. It deliberately has few commercials because you want people to sit and watch.
Yeah, it's built in. It's cinematic for a reason.
Yes, the way it's shot is
We want
like
you
a
to have to.
film.
Yeah, absolutely. We want you to have to sit and take in those segments. You got to get your nachos, you got to get your popcorn or whatever, it is, and put it in front of you, and then watch with people, and so that you can talk about it together.
You're connecting with viewers, but you also connect with students. You're a drama professor at Yale. Are there things from your upbringing and your background, your education, that you're using in the classroom?
Oh, every day. I'm extraordinarily nervous and shy by nature.
Are you?
I am. I am.
I'm surprised.
I'm terrified
You're a
right
good
now. Yeah.
Yes, you're a
But
good actor.
I learned that.
That's the survival mechanism
Absolutely.
kicking in.
You learn that you present confidence,
Yeah.
you present smiles, you draw people in, you ask them questions,
Yeah.
you compliment them. I learned all those skills, right? And at some point, I forget to turn them off.
Yeah. Well,
The compliment,
fascinating.
because you did say, I like that shade of green.
Yeah.
You did say that.
One last
I
quick
actually do
question.
like it.
One last quick question.
Okay,
Where's
okay.
your Oscar?
It's at Yale.
It is.
On loan.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
right,
oh yeah,
Terrell.
I don't need to carry it around. It's heavy.
Terrell, we're so glad you're here. And David is here, Akili, who plays David. So
That's
we're going
right.
to do Facebook Live right after the show.
Absolutely.
With you, me. Hi, David. There's David.
Hi, Akili. Oh.
Hi, Akili. Sorry. Hi, Akili. He plays a title character in David Makes Man. We thank you very much.
Thank you.
David
Thanks for
Makes
having me.
Man airs on Wednesday nights on OWN. So the first one aired last night. You can still watch it, though. Join us right after the broadcast for Facebook Live with Terrell and the 16-year actor who plays David. That's Akili McDowell.